Hi, today's video is on Edexcel English Language Syllabus B. I titled it Tips for Comprehension. As you know, in section A, the exam paper usually have 2 comprehension passages and 7 to 9 questions. So I'm trying to help you out with this section. The present syllabus has 30% mark in it. So first, let's see what types of questions they usually set. If you can follow my handwriting, that might be helpful. The first type, select specific information from the text. These are usually easier questions, like how many times did the writer say no? The text says 3 times he said no. So that's specific information. Then answer in your own language. A few questions there where in bold type the examiner asks you to give question answers. Usually the answers are obvious, but you can't copy them. You can't even use the keywords. You need to use their synonyms. Another type of question is, give a specific number of points which means there will be certain points to an answer, like where theft is likely to occur, and in the text you have 5 or 6 places, so they might ask you 5, so you give 5 points. At a bus stop or a ticket queue, so on and so forth. Another type of question is, take out words or phrases that have similar or different meaning. You might be asked to find out words from certain paragraphs. Sometimes they mention from paragraph 1 or 2, find out 2 words or phrases that say for example, the writer was tired. In the next type, say what is suggested by certain quotations or descriptions, which means you have to understand the inner meaning or inferential meaning, which won't be difficult in the context of the text. The next type, comment on the language and style. By this question I mean sometimes, as was in 2005 January paper, they might ask you to take out 2 extracts, 2 sentences, and comment on how those sentences are effective, or the description given there is lively. In such cases, you have to notice the writer's use of words and devices and comment on that. And the last question of the section, the longer answer, is comparing 2 passages. We call that comparison question. The general tips that I'm going to give here will not cover the comparison question. I'll make a separate video for that. But the rest of the questions, surely you will get helpful from the following general pieces of advice. Yes, as you can see, general advice for this reading section, comprehension section for this Edexcel syllabus B paper. First, read all the instructions given on the top of the section, which is even before the questions start, they give you some instructions, follow them. Notice other instructions throughout the paper, which means there will be more instructions as they work with the questions one after another, and you are asked to notice those also carefully. Next, read each passage at least once before you answer any question. By this I mean, don't read a question and start answering as you may think, okay, in the first 2 lines I have this answer. You may have, but you may not. When you read the whole passage, you might find out that the given information in the beginning is contradicted later, or that was sarcastic, ironical. What it said, the writer didn't really mean that. So you go till the end of the passage at least once, and then come back and then answer the questions. Read and answer one passage at a time. Why this advice? Usually they give you 2 passages, and the question paper generally says, now read passage 1 and 2 inside in time and answer all the questions. But you do not have to read both of them together. Read one, come back with the information you found out and answer the questions related to that passage. Then you will have better chance to recollect the information and answer better. After you are done with passage 1, then move on to passage 2. Next piece of advice, notice how many marks you are offered. This is important. Though more often than not, they will say give 3 points, 3 examples. But sometimes you will get a question that says, why did the writer not take the train? Now, maybe in the text you see there are 4, 5 different reasons, but they offer you 3 marks. Don't waste your time giving all 5 points. Just 3 points will give you 3 marks. Though they didn't say 3 points, the marks, 3 marks just tells you, 3 marks tell you 3 points will be enough. Next point, work through the paper one question at a time in a logical manner, not necessarily chronologically. Why this advice? You might find question number 2 or question number 4 rather difficult. You are not finding satisfactory answer right now. Don't get stuck. Don't waste time here now. Move on. Do all the other answers. And when you have been doing that answers, you have better understanding, and you come back and answer the question that you left unanswered. Yes. Don't waste time that I'll answer 1, 2, 3 chronologically, because the time is so important. Next. Read each question very carefully, not missing any instructions. It is a repetition of advice 1, advice 2. But why again? Yes. Each question, sometimes in bold type, sometimes within round brackets or parentheses, you have extra information. Like find 2 phrases that suggest the writer was happy. And then within parentheses, the examiner says, not more than 3 words each. This is so important. If you find a good phrase, but 4 words, they won't consider it correct. Next. Use information from the passage. Outside information is not acceptable. Yes, as you know, this is reading section, and you are reading on something, about something that you personally know a lot about. But when you are writing the answers, make sure the information in your answer occurs in the text. directly or inferentially. Don't give your personal knowledge here. They won't consider it correct. Next point. Study maps, graphs, pictures, etc. Given with the text. Yes. Sometimes your texts come with a map, a graph, a picture. Don't ignore them. They are there for you to get information from. They may be so important that some answer might be hidden in them. And also, when you are writing comparison question, they might be handy. So notice them, study them. Next tip is answer all questions. No negative marking here. Which means, even after studying the passage really well, you may not be sure of a question of 2 marks. You fear the answer might be wrong. But of course give the answer. Give your best guess. You might get the marks. If not, you lose nothing. Because for bad answers, they don't punish you as they do in SAT exams. And finally, revise. Revise your answers critically. Remember, though in present syllabus, like 2016, 2017 exams, even 2018 Jan exam, section A has 30 marks. But these are the marks that you should try to score. They can be scored easily. Try to get maximum marks here. 27, 28, 29, 30. If you are planning to get an A or A star. So revise critically. By critically I mean forget that you wrote it. Imagine you are the examiner. And then revise. I'm sure you will save some marks by that, by finding out unintentional error, or you might improve some answer that you have already given. So best of luck with your reading section at Edexcel English Language Syllabus being. Bye.